Are you tired of writing the same code over and over again in your Angular components? It can be a real drag, right? Well, today we're diving into how to use Angular decorators to reduce that repetitive code and make your life a whole lot easier. I totally get it. Having to initialize the same service in 90% of your components can feel like a never-ending chore. You're definitely not alone in this struggle. Many developers face this issue, and it can be quite frustrating. Let's take a closer look at your specific situation. You mentioned needing to initialize the i18n service in most of your components, which involves importing the service, the translation file, implementing ng on init, and calling the init function. Sound familiar? Let's explore how decorators can help simplify this process. So what's the challenge here? Decorators run at compile time, which makes it tricky to use services like i18n service directly within them. This is a common hurdle, but don't worry, we'll break it down and find a solution together. And stick around, I have a great tip at the end that will help you decide if decorators are the right choice for your situation. To begin solving the user's problem, we need to create a custom class decorator that will handle the initialization of the i18n service. This decorator will be applied to the components that require the service. Next, the user should implement the logic to initialize the i18n service within the decorator. This involves calling the init method of the service after the component is constructed. After creating the decorator, the user should apply it to the components that need the i18n service. This will reduce the repetitive code across those components. Finally, the user should test the components to ensure that the i18n service is being initialized correctly. This can be done by checking the console for any errors or verifying the service's functionality. Fun fact, did you know that decorators in Angular are inspired by the decorator pattern in object-oriented programming? It's a neat way to enhance functionality without modifying the original code. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. One alternative approach involves using the injector in the app module constructor. This allows you to access services within a custom decorator. The user suggests storing the injector and then using it in a patched ng on init method to retrieve the necessary service. In the page track decorator, the user modifies the ng on init method to call the analytics service. This way, every time a component with the page track decorator initializes, it will automatically track the page visit. Finally, the user demonstrates how to apply the page track decorator to a component, ensuring that the analytics service is called whenever the component initializes. Here's a pro tip. Always weigh the pros and cons of using decorators versus factory functions. Sometimes a simpler solution can save you a lot of headaches down the road. And there you have it. By using factory functions or custom decorators, you can significantly reduce repetitive code in your Angular components. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks to streamline your coding experience.